Boom, 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 chicka, boom, boom, bow, chicka, wow, wow. Well, no, actually, this is not a channel about that. Um, Although I suppose I could change it since I'm still able to do that. Anyways, no, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the topic, which is LA restaurants. So I came across an article today in regards to big LA restaurants. And what's happening is they are concerned that even though they're being very, very careful with sanitation and making sure everything is like germ free and all that, they're saying that, oh, they don't trust that the delivery drivers are adhering to the same strictness as far as the sanitation. Like, they're being very clean, keeping, people 6 feet away, sanitizing everything, gloves and all that, but that they're seeing drivers walking in without masks, and they have no control over what the driver does with the food once they're out of the restaurant, and they don't want to be made look bad by the driver when it turns out they're doing everything that they can be doing to keep things clean. But then the driver, they're concerned that the driver could ruin that and then make them look bad because they're not doing the same thing. So, this was an article I came across. It was yesterday off of Eater Los Angeles. Of course, I will provide a link to it after I'm finished with the live. If you're watching on the replay, there will be a link in the description. A number of prominent Los Angeles restaurant owners are finding that the current glut of delivery app options may not be suitable or safe for them to use during this ongoing coronavirus pandemic. From restaurants such as Hail Mary Pizza to Home State to Apple Pan, more and more restaurants have been pulling back from services such as Grubhub, Caviar, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, citing the health concerns for their employees and customers. They also say that the tech giants behind these apps are really doing little to remedy the situation. Owner of Hail Mary Pizza said he'd be using Caviar during their casual dinner time restaurant for some time, but an influx of new drivers and their lack of safety protocols led him to scrap delivery for the time being. Are they doing what we're doing? Apparently not. The answer is often no, in the opinion of the restaurant. The restaurant workers themselves are facing strict scrutiny from a variety of different sources, such as random health department inspections or necessary food handling compliance certifications, which of course drivers such as myself do not have to undergo that because we're not, we're not messing with the food, Well, hopefully, of course, yeah, some are, unfortunately. I've seen videos and heard stories and seen news, yeah. But ultimately, we're not supposed to, We're supposed to just pick up the food and deliver it. That's it. Oh, so these sanitation standards don't exist for delivery app drivers, many of whom come on board during a time of skyrocketing unemployment, yeah, and dramatic increase in the demand for these at-home delivery type services due to California's safer at-home mandate. But of course, that's happening, all over the country. There's a lot of everybody's, safer at-home mandates going on, and because of that, yeah, the demand has increased. As I mentioned in some previous videos, yeah, it's gone up at least, 30, 40%. In some cases up to 150%, like 2.5 times as much, depending on, I guess, the area and the service. But last week, Eric Garcetti announced a requirement, and I mentioned this in another live, that all essential employees here in LA County, at least, must wear a mask and before they go, when they're out working and picking up deliveries and dropping off those orders. And other cities like Pasadena, which is actually independent of LA, have decided to follow suit. I'm sure that other ones are doing the same thing. Burbank is probably doing that as well, Santa Monica, etc., etc. We are basically running a clean laboratory-like restaurant. A owner of a restaurant in Highland Park states, we're taking initiatives to sanitize both inbound product and outbound delivery packages, only to then hand it off to someone who isn't wearing a mask and putting the food in an environment that we can't control. Of course, you don't know what they're going to do with it afterwards. That's true. You hope that they're, being careful, but you don't know. So because of that uncertainty, some people are worried about that. Home State sent out an email to its customers stating they would be ceasing all app delivery for the time being. Effective immediately, we are no longer going to offer delivery. While they do provide a valuable service and much needed revenue, we have lost confidence in their ability to maintain safe standards during this viral pandemic. It's too risky to entrust your food with someone who may not share our total commitment to safe handling practices and undermines our efforts, is what a lot of these restaurants are saying. So again, they're just not trusting that drivers are being as careful as they are. Applepan announced on Instagram that they too would no longer be using apps. We've completely rearranged our operation to spread our team out and take all the precautions we can to provide a safe meal. It didn't seem right to promote with a company that isn't insisting on having the same standards, even though, we all know that DoorDash has been allowing orders of protective gear. I myself received hand sanitizer and gloves, and this week supposedly is shipping out the orders from Grubhub that it's a personal kit that includes a mask, gloves, and sanitizer as well. So even though these companies are doing this, I guess since it's a little bit maybe later into the game that these things are arriving, these companies, these restaurant owners aren't quite trusting it yet. Not yet, or maybe won't for, the duration of this, lockdown pandemic thing that's going on. So, yeah, they're losing a lot of revenue. Every restaurant owner that Eater talked to for the story was quick to note the decision to stop offering delivery was a personal one, that they could not say whether or not the other restaurants should follow suit. They can't speak for other restaurants. Of course, it's really up to that individual restaurant whether they want to do that, because it could hurt them. In the end of the day, without Postmates, one restaurant says, a pizza shop owner says, I would have to close without that. I would, if I were to turn off the app, there goes 90%, 90% of my remaining business. That's, kind of a lot. Yeah. So, if that's the case, if it's a restaurant that, a huge portion of their business is coming through these delivery apps, then they can't afford to do that. I mean, then they might as well just, shut down completely and not even do delivery if they're going to turn off these apps, They have to, they have to deal with these apps if they're at least going to survive and make it through, I guess, this, delivery only situation, as long as that goes. Yelp reviewers complained about potentially unsanitary practices from delivery drivers. I still feel an obligation to try to sustain some sort of living for my employees regardless. It was clear immediately we saw our sales drop by 30% or more. Wilcox says of Hail Mary's decision to stop using caviar. So this was specifically about caviar. This particular restaurant was using caviar. We are hoping to offer our own in-house delivery service in the coming days, staffed by employees who have self-quarantined for 2 weeks. Chime in at any time, guys, if you have thoughts on this. I know we got 5 people watching right now. If you wouldn't mind giving a thumbs up, would be awesome. Wilcox said before turning off delivery, he tried to have a conversation with a rep at Caviar about those concerns. Said they weren't willing to create this strict set of protocols or screening process for who's actually driving for them. Right now, we're just bringing in bodies, which kind of makes sense. I mean, they need more bodies. I know Amazon has been hiring left and right. Instacart has been hiring more people because they need it. They need bodies. Are they making sure that those bodies are doing a good job and staying sanitary? I guess it depends on, which company you're talking to. Caviar, I don't know what they're doing. I've never done Caviar, but I can speak, obviously, in regards to both DoorDash and Grubhub, which I have been doing for over 2 years now, and I currently still do. Still out there. A rep for Uber Eats sent an email to Eater stating that the company has been sharing tips with restaurant owners and drivers on social distancing norms, adding that the company is working to provide sanitizing products to its drivers. Rep for DoorDash says, among other things, the company has provided 5 million masks to its drivers and been distributing hand sanitizer and gloves, which is true. I received them myself a little over a week ago. So, could this trend move on to other cities? As a matter of fact, I'm going to be making a video a little bit later today. I don't know if I'll have it uploaded by later today, about another city that has been dealing with specifically a certain specific company that they haven't been happy with the drivers of that company being rude in general. This is even before the pandemic, but people just being rude in general. Stephen Chatterton, my friend is doing Instacart and the customers are demanding brands that are not on shelves. Help reducing the net safe. Okay, hey, welcome to the live chat. Once again, guys, if you are watching, you should be clicking that thumbs up, because if you're not watching, it means you are, not interested. But if you're watching, you're obviously interested in what I'm saying. Please support me by giving it a thumbs up. Okay, so let me look into the chat and make sure that I'm not missing anybody. I do the live streams with my phone camera because the one on my laptop is broken at the moment. I think I will end up getting one off of like Amazon that I can slip into the USB at some point. But for now, I will be looking at you guys, what you're saying via my laptop, and make sure that I keep up with your guys' comments during this live stream. So, give me a minute and I will respond if you have said anything. Don't worry. Hello to anybody out there. How you guys doing? Stephen Chatterton. Okay. Demanding brands that are not on shelves, hence reducing the net sale. Little profit. Yeah. Brands that are not on shelves. Of course. So if those brands aren't there, then who are they blaming? I mean, ultimately, it's not the driver's fault if something is available or not available in that grocery store. They have no control over that. We have no control over what's on the shelves or not. We're not the stock people. We're not the truck drivers bringing in the product. We're just going in, grabbing whatever we can that's on the customer's list and delivering. If it's not there, it's not there. Although I can totally see at the end of the day, the customer, when they're doing the rating, they're probably just giving the Instacart driver a bad rating. They're saying, oh, I didn't get my this, I didn't get my that, I didn't get my Bounty, paper towels, I didn't get my, protein shake, whatever. They were out. And so then they're going to provide a bad rating. But that bad rating, unfortunately, doesn't go to the grocery store. It hits directly the Instacart driver, who has no control over that. Again, definitely some unfairness, and that's in addition to this supposed bait and switch that I've been seeing people make videos about, that Instacart shoppers are baiting people with big tips just so that they'll go and deliver their order and then afterwards change it, which I don't know why Instacart would allow the customer the ability to change their tip after. Why would you do that? Why would you set your drivers up for failure like that? Again, some of these companies just don't have it straight. There's a reason why I don't do Postmates anymore, and it's because of their setup. They don't have it set up to where it's friendly for drivers, to where they can, add the tip beforehand. They don't have to add the tip review. At least last time I checked. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who currently does Postmates, if the app gives them the option to rate and tip during the order, if that's been updated, I don't know, let me know. Last time I did Postmates, they didn't see that screen until the next time they opened up the app, like maybe a week later, a few days later, and of course they're not going to remember whether or not the driver did a good job, because they're not thinking about, oh, did that guy do a good job last time? They're just, they want to skip past it and order their next meal because they're hungry. So that's where, certain apps have failed, like Postmates. Instacart apparently is failing their drivers with the setup of the app, with that feature where they can change the tip after. Come on, no. Let them make the tip, boom, set it up, and it's permanent. That's a done deal. Just like when you sign the paper at the restaurant, with your tip for the waiter. It's not like, oh, I'm going to change that afterwards, the amount. No, it doesn't work that way. You make your tip, you tip the driver generously because they're out there, especially now during a pandemic. They're putting themselves at risk being in a grocery store surrounded by lots of people, some of who could have the virus, and they're delivering it to you just so that you can stay safe and not have to go to the grocery store yourself. So that's really lame. And Instacart, shame on you for allowing that option. Fix that shit. Okay. Let's take a look at the chat here. Alan, will Trump open up the economy by next week? I doubt it. I don't think he's going to get enough support. This is my humble opinion. I'm not going to get into politics. I refuse to get into political debates on my channel because I don't want to I don't generally like discussing politics in general because it just gets hella ugly, Everybody has their side. Some people are for the right. Some people are for the left. Some people are red. Some people are blue. I'm not going to comment on that because I'm not going to create that kind of environment on my channel where people are attacking each other and spitting hate and stuff like that. No, that is not welcome here. So I don't know. I don't know. I doubt it. In my humble opinion, I doubt he will, because I don't think enough people will say, hey, that's okay, or it makes enough sense when we just hit a peak high of 23,000 deaths like yesterday or today. It doesn't make sense to open up the economy next week. My opinion, again, just my humble opinion. I don't know. Okay, that's my take, Alan. What do you think? Okay, Stephen Chatterton. I am the author of Better Than a Taxi. Well, welcome. I don't normally have authors on my live streams or visiting my channel. Thank you for coming here, Stephen. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My true story of 5 years driving Uber. Oh, okay, so you're very seasoned. You're very seasoned. I mean, you've got 5 years. Yeah, I did it for approximately 4. So you got 1 year on me. Right on. Got some crazy stories, I'm sure, just like I do. I've uploaded a few of those. Alan L. It's weird that I haven't heard of food carriers that have contracted COVID-19. When you say food carriers, Alan, are you talking about people literally carrying the food, as in delivery drivers, as in couriers? Can you elaborate on that, Alan? Because if you're talking about food carriers as in like the brands of food, or people, or do you mean people eating certain foods and contracting the virus? Because from what I've read so far, again, not a health expert or anything like that, but what I've read is that it's highly unlikely, very low chance that you'll contract the virus from takeout or from something that you eat at the grocery store. Supposedly through eating, it's not likely, is what I've read. Just what I've read. Don't know if it's true or not. There's a lot we don't know. Alan, yeah, Postmates and Grubhub. Okay, I haven't heard of food carriers that have contracted. Okay, so you mean the drivers, like Postmates, Grubhub, DoorDash drivers contracting the virus. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good question. I haven't myself heard of any contracting it. Is it possible some have? Sure, I know I've seen some people say, F that, I'm not, delivering anymore. I'm going to file for unemployment and stay home. I'm still out there driving. I'm just being really careful. Yes, I'm wearing my mask and sanitizing, like I've got OCD. This virus has made me very OCD out there, particularly, and also in my home. When I get home, like the process I do of like sanitizing my coat, my hat, washing my face, my hands, my upper arms, my forearms, all that, anything that could have possibly, been near somebody's breath or a person. Yeah, I'm definitely being probably overdoing it, but as I've said to people like Ricky Reviews and Rideshare Lisa, who I agree with, better safe than sorry. They mention if you're walking by a person to hold your breath, which makes sense. That way you're not possibly breathing in their little particles, because even through breath, as I mentioned in, I think, just my last video, tiny microscopic particles of spit could still be going through if you're just breathing or talking. Could you breathe those in walking by somebody that's infected? Absolutely. So yeah, I think better to hold your breath for a few seconds as you walk by that person. Right, your Lisa said she puts her head down and then holds her breath. So yeah, a little extra. I think that's better. Lessen the chance of you contracting it than breathing that in, because you thought, oh, just for a few seconds walking by that person, I'm not going to get anything because they didn't sneeze on me. No, apparently it's not just sneeze. They could just talk or breathe and pass it on to someone if they're close enough. So just be aware of that. Okay, all right, guys, so we got 4 watching currently. We got 1 thumbs up. If you are in the live chat and you have given this a thumbs up, go ahead and click boom, write boom in the chat if you have given this video a thumbs up. Okay, guys, so yeah, I just wanted to chat about that, mostly the LA situation. Again, I'll be making another video about this topic, but a different area with a specific company that I have seen online earlier today. So will this happen more? Is the question, will more and more LA restaurants be shutting their doors to the delivery apps? Thank you, Steven. Will they be kicking them to the curb? That's my question. It's ultimately depends on how dependent they are on these apps, like how much of their revenue is through Postmates, Grubhub, DoorDash, etc., regardless of the fees, you know. And that's something that they mentioned in this article as well. They're like, hey, yes, we know that the fees are high, 30%, but that's, you know, all of my revenue, that's all my business. If I shut them out, then I'm not going to get, you know, hardly anything. So that makes sense. So I think it depends. But I guess we'll see ultimately, you know, who follows suit with this as we wait for the country to reopen. Anyhow, I hope that you guys are staying safe. Hope that you're staying sanitized. If you are an Uber or Lyft driver still out there, say something in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Are you doing that plastic sheet, which I talked about in my last video, between the front and the back? Are you still delivery driving? I know a lot of you who watch me still are. Are you being extra careful? Are you sanitizing? Or have you stopped? Are you like, screw that, not worth the risk, it's just my part-time job? I know if it's your full-time job and you do it like, you know, all week like I do, then yeah, you're probably still doing it, but being careful. But for those who have a separate 9 to 5 job and just do this on the side, I can totally see a lot of those people saying, screw that, I'm not taking the risk. You know, I've got my regular job and I can file unemployment benefits from that regular job, because apparently a lot of people have been getting zero back when filing unemployment as a gig economy driver, like rideshare or food delivery. I've been seeing that a lot, particularly in Harry Campbell's live stream, which he did earlier today, the rideshare guy. Shout out to him. I was checked out his live stream earlier today, and there are a lot of people stating in the chat that they got zero. They filed for unemployment and what they received back was, hey, you are entitled to $0, and they're filing appeals. So if that's the case, then, you know, those who have that regular 9 to 5 can still fall back on filing unemployment for that regular 9 to 5, and we'll say screw it to, you know, delivery driving for right now. So let me know. What are you guys doing? What's going on with you? Are you still out there? Regardless, are you even in the gig economy? Are you just somebody who watches me who isn't a driver at all, and you're just, you know, curious about what this world is like and want to learn? How are you doing? Have you filed for unemployment, or are you still or are you an essential worker? Are you a grocery worker? Do you work at a restaurant? I'd love to hear from you. Give me your opinion on this and your thoughts, and any tips on safety are definitely good too. All right, guys. Well, I will head out for the time being, and stay safe. Talk to you again soon.